Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Cover 2 podcast. As always, I'm your host, Lawson Turner, and we have a Woj bomb that dropped last night, and I've been thinking about it, and so let's dive on into it. So the Knicks pulled off this kind of a crazy trade to get Mikal Bridges from the Brooklyn Nets for a haul. They as in the Knicks, get a second round pick, which is, fodder, and then Mikal Bridges, which is, the star. And normally, whenever you see whatever team in a trade in which you're getting a star or potential superstar player like Mikal Bridges, depending upon who you ask, they normally win the trade. However, the Nets get Bojan Bogdanovic, four unprotected first round picks, a protected first round pick, a pick swap, that's a first rounder, and a second round pick. So like in the grand scheme of things, the Nets are a rebuilding team, and there are more reports that we could see a lot of other players get moved. With the Nets being in a rebuild mode, look at what OKC did just over the past 4 or 5 years. Be somewhat competitive. Now the Nets haven't been competitive since they had the big three of Harden, KD, and Kyrie. But now that they're in full rebuild mode, getting off Mikal Bridges, they're just in sell, 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 sell. So they're acquiring as many draft picks as they can, like what OKC did. Now, what does this mean for the Knicks? Well, it means that the Knicks are they're going to continue in their upwards trajectory as they have been the past 2 3 years. You know, I could see them. It's I could see this not putting them over the edge because you're still gonna have Boston, Milwaukee's gonna come back. You don't think the Sixers are gonna make a splash move? So there's your four teams right there, and that's four fantastic teams, and that's not counting teams out west when it comes to competing and contending for an NBA title. Now there are other reports that they're still going to try and re-sign OG Anunoby, which that would be I don't know what. Well, not that I don't know. If they sign OG Anunoby, I have no idea what their closing lineup would be. Because, like, Isaiah Hartenstein's a free agent. He's going to want a bag, and I doubt he's going to give the Knicks maybe a little bit of a hometown discount, but he's still going to. Everyone's going to overpay for him because he's on the he's a free agent. He's on the open market. You can give him whatever you want, and it's not going to cost you anything but cash. You know, so when you're they genuinely as a closing lineup could go Brunson, Dante, OG, assuming they resign him, Mikal, and Josh Hart, and just say, Josh Hart, go play center. You're a high energy bunny guy. Go grab it now. Obviously, he can't do it for the entirety of a game or play big minutes at the center spot. But if they re-sign OG, I'm not going to be shocked when that is a five-man, unit that Tibbs will go to, late in games. Maybe try and force the opposition's hand as to, okay, we're going to go really small. You guys are either going to have to go really small or you're going to be in hell with your bigs. Now, Josh Hart is your obvious non-shooter that you would help off of. But if Josh Hart can, continue in the upwards trajectory like he did in the postseason, where he was a respectable three-point shooter, who knows? Who knows? Um, Obviously, if they re-sign Isaiah Hartenstein, one of these wings are going to have to come off the bench. But to answer the question on the screen, does it put them over the hump? No. I don't see this being, and I like Mikal Bridges. He's a fantastic. Still, it's crazy because he's only 27. Like that's the thing. He's only 27. He's for a career he's just under 15 points per game, but we've seen him almost every year go up and up and up and up. Like his rookie year, like from his rookie year, he goes 8 points, 9 points, 14, 14, 20, and then he gets traded from Phoenix to Brooklyn, and when he those last 27 games, he averaged 26 points per game for the Nets, and then averaged, if you want to round up to 20, he averaged 19.6 just last year. So They're getting a not high energy, but a fantastic perimeter defender. He was second in defensive player of the year voting the year Marcus Smart won it. Just what was it? 2 years ago? 3 years ago? It was in 2021, 2022, so almost 3 years ago now. Um, Fantastic defensive player, long, rangy, can hit the three, can handle the ball if need be. I can't wait to see how this fits because in theory this is going to it should work fantastically. There's no reason as to why this team can now not make the Eastern Conference Final. Now they were up, 2 games to none over the Pacers, and then there was a game 7 in their building, and the Pacers shot them out of the waters. But if the East goes through Boston again, in which it very well might be, because their starting five is sensational and they're a really talented, well coached team. If it goes through Boston and they have to play the Knicks in the postseason, the Knicks have so many wing defenders to throw at Brown and Tatum and just make it kind of hell because Mikal Bridges is, like I mentioned, a great defensive player, but just on the perimeter, his length, especially like how long he is, he's a disruptive on-ball defender and a really good off-ball defender as well. Um, like I said, this is a it's I think it works well for both teams because you have your contending now team in the Knicks trying to make another splash move. They're like, okay, we got to the Eastern Conference semifinals and we're up 2 games to none and it had a game 7 in our building. And did injuries play a part in it? Absolutely, but that's the way the sports world goes. I was about to say the sports business. And Mikal Bridges, he's been durable, hasn't missed a game since coming into the NBA. He hasn't been hurt. He plays damn near every game, if not every game. He played all 82 last year, and then the year before he played 83, which is hilarious due to him playing that extra game for the Suns before getting traded. And then you look at the year before, 82, then played 70, 72 or 72. Like he's played in every single game since he's been in the NBA. And for the playoffs, and especially for a player that is going into a Tom Thibodeau coach team, you need durability because you know he's going to play his guys heavy minutes. That's not a secret. It is what it is. Now that's going to be the biggest thing. He's been durable thus far. Can he continue to play, you know, every game when being coached hard and practice hard that Tibbs' coaching style is going to do? You know, that's the biggest thing for me. It's when you can be a big fish in a small pond, and now you're a medium-sized fish in a very, very large pond. Because now it's, oh, this team has enough talent to go to the NBA Finals. Assuming they re-sign OG or Isaiah Hartenstein and bring him back, like that's the biggest thing for me. Like talent-wise, good roster now. The Villanova Knicks. That's basically what it is now. Uh, I don't think as constructed now, before free agency, before they re-sign OG and all that good stuff. I don't think it puts them over Boston. If Philly gets Paul George, or I've heard rumblings last night of Brandon Ingram, I think that I don't know if it puts them over Philly, even though they kind of womped him in the first round, you know. But there's so many other variables because the Knicks have closed the gap with all the other teams in the East and widened the gap of the teams that they were above. But what are the other teams going to do? I think the Bucks are going to try and do something. I think that I know Philly's going to do something. Like I mentioned, whether it be Paul George or a player like Brandon Ingram, you know. But all in all, that's about my take of it. There's no reason for everyone to think, oh, this team is finals bound now. Well, it's the East, and the East has the Celtics and the Bucks, who are going to be more healthy than this year than they were last year. And there's always going to be that surprise team. And what about the teams that haven't made any moves yet, but we know that their players are going to improve, like the Magic, or we're going to see what the Cavs do, since they hired Kenny Atkinson as head coach. What splash moves are, there's so many other dominoes to fall, but this was the first big one, and I'm excited now because yes, basketball season just ended, but we're already kicking off just the eve of free agency, not literal eve, but free agency is right around the corner. And there's going to be Woj bombs and trades and signs and everything, and I can't wait to record and, give takes and opinions on it. But that's all I have for you guys in this episode of the Cover 2 podcast. Be sure to check us out on Twitter or X. At the Cover 2 Pod 26. Link is in the description to make it a little bit easier to find. As always, for the Cover 2 podcast, I'm Lawson Turner, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.